Madam Chancellor, Madam President, faculty, graduates, guests, my dear friend Janet, thank you. I am deeply touched to have been chosen by Mount St. Vincent for this honor. And it is so lovely to be back here on the Mount campus, especially during the month of May, a bittersweet time of endings and a happy time of beginnings. I was a day student during my time here at the Mount. I still recall that first day on campus in 1977. My first class was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I left my home that day and caught the 11:30 bus from Spryfield to what was then the Simpson-Sears Terminal on Mumford Road. At Mumford Road, my intention was to transfer to the number 80, which traveled from there out along the Bedford Highway. But when my first bus was just arriving at the terminal, I could see the number 80 pulling away from the curb. I knew that there would not be another number 80 for an hour. I was going to be late on my first day. What to do, what to do? I was too green to think of catching a cab and would not have had the extra cash to pay for it anyway. My mother had drilled into me from an early age the dangers of hitchhiking, so that was out of the question. I knew that I would have to walk from Mumford Road to here. More specifically, if I was going to make it on time, I would have to run. So I pretty much ran the distance, arriving just in time, a hot mess on a hot September afternoon, only to be immediately directed in here for a mandatory English grammar proficiency test, which I promptly failed. I was shocked. Hadn't I graduated from high school with a pretty decent grade in English? Now I had to take a 6-week remedial English course in the evenings if I wanted to remain enrolled. Things were looking bleak. But having no other choice, I took that remedial English course, and it was one of the best things that could have happened to me. It taught me how to write. I wish I could remember the name of our teacher. I think she may have been one of the sisters. She was terrific. She made English grammar make sense. Where the commas go and why, how to use the dreaded semicolon, proper sentence structure, when to start a new paragraph, contractions and possessives, and where to put those flipping apostrophes. It was great, and it was just what I needed. Fast forward 32 years to my daughter Catherine's first day at university in 2009. We had driven her to Montreal to attend McGill and had spent her first day helping to move her things into her dorm room. Up and down the stairs of her residence we went on that hot, sticky August afternoon, and eventually her room began to take shape. We were to attend a session for parents the next day and then head back to Nova Scotia, leaving Catherine to attend Frosh Week activities before starting classes the following week. After some shopping and dinner, we all crashed at a nearby hotel. And then the calls from Halifax started coming in. First, from my mother, worried because our son Alex, Catherine's older brother, had not shown up to have dinner with her and my father, as he had promised. The last, from the police officer. Mr. and Mrs. Fountain, I'm very sorry to inform you that we have been able to positively identify the body we found this afternoon as your son's. It was every parent's nightmare, and for us, it had come true. I will admit, I've had a hard time preparing this speech. I knew coming here today that my message would be about mental health and the importance of bringing an end to the stigma that surrounds mental illness. And I knew that in order to do that, I would have to reach back in time to speak about Alex, who took his own life nearly 8 years ago on that August afternoon. Alex was a student about to enter his 4th year at the University of King's College here in Halifax. He had originally attended King's to pursue a degree in journalism, but despite having excellent grades and a terrific natural ability to write, had decided around the end of his 2nd year that it was not a career for which he had the heart. He had begun to dream of the possibility of becoming a teacher. His late grandfather Fountain had been a teacher, first in the 1930s at the age of 17, in a one-room schoolhouse on Deer Island, New Brunswick, well before he had even attended university, and later in the 1950s at Acadia University in Wolfville. Several of my guests here today, including one of my brothers and 2 of our dear friends, are teachers. Retired teachers, you'll be happy to know. I think Alex would have been an excellent teacher. He was compassionate, inclusive, the kindest person I have ever known. He was smart, interesting, funny, always ready with the witty comeback, unlike yours truly, who could never come up with what she should have said until she's lying awake fretting about it at 3 o'clock in the morning. People loved Alex, and Alex loved people, from babies and little kids right on up to the elderly. He wanted to bring everyone into the room. But soon after he began his 3rd year at King's, Alex told us he wasn't feeling right, that he felt depressed and couldn't seem to shake it. We sought counseling help for him. He began taking better care of himself, exercising more often, and eating more healthily, smoking less dope. He carried on with his studies, his music, and his bands, with his friends and girlfriends. Sure, he occasionally exhibited some erratic behavior, like feeling he just had to have one more part-time job, he already had 2, and then abruptly quitting it the day after he had begun. Or expressing ambivalence about getting together with us, and then showing over-the-top enthusiasm when we did see him, hugging you like he was hanging on for dear life, which, in retrospect, he probably was. At the end of that 3rd year at King's, he went backpacking in Europe with his 2 best friends, but let us know midway through that trip how much he was looking forward to coming home. He went with us on our annual fishing trip in July, and he was great, back to his old self, or so we thought. We left with Catherine for Montreal on August 20th. He took his own life on August 22nd, 2009, just 3 weeks shy of his 21st birthday. At his funeral, his dad and his sister and I spoke, and all decided independently of each other to tell the 500 or more people who had gathered that Alex had died by suicide. There were 2 reasons why I did this. First, I had this worry that his young friends would somehow think they were at fault, and I wanted to reassure them that they were not. Second, I did not want anyone to speculate about why Alex had died. It was important to me for people to know the truth. At that time, I didn't know how I was going to be able to carry on living my own life, but at some level I knew that I would not be able to bear hiding in the shadows of secrecy about Alex's passing. But something else happened that we were not expecting. People, some whom we did not know, some we barely knew, and others we had known for a very long time began to approach us, wanting to tell us their own stories and struggles with mental illness, to release all that they had kept hidden inside for years and years. So many times their stories began with the words, "I've never told anyone this before, but my mother or my sister, my partner, my child, myself, we had seemed to have opened some sort of floodgate. Some days, the statistic we were hearing of 1 in 5 people suffering some form of mental illness seemed more like 1 in 3. People desperately needed to talk, to tell us how much pain they were in. I have been so heartened over the years since Alex died to see so many people have the courage to speak openly about their challenges with mental illness. Well-known Canadians such as Olympic champion Clara Hughes and our Prime Minister's mother, Margaret Trudeau. Entertainers like Lady Gaga and Bruce Springsteen, and most recently even royalty like Prince Harry, who together with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge created the Heads Together campaign to battle the stigma surrounding mental illness in Britain. I'm encouraged by Bell Canada's creation of its annual Let's Talk Day campaign, which brings awareness to mental health issues, and according to their latest annual report, has a funding commitment to date of over $86 million for mental health initiatives. And I am inspired every time I hear one of the members from Langhouse here in Halifax stand before a crowd and bravely tell their own story of hope and recovery from the despair and loneliness of mental illness. It is well past time for the stigma surrounding mental illness to stop. How can anyone even get to the help they need if they continue to feel they are surrounded by shame? For us, it has remained helpful and important to talk about what happened to Alex, to be open with others, and to share with anyone who has questions and listen to anyone who needed an ear. This is something we all can do and something we all must do. And for anyone who is suffering from depression, as Alex did, or any type of mental illness, please, please do not let the idea of stigma prevent you from seeking help. There are so many people who care about you and who want to help. I am not an authority on mental health. I am a mother who lost my child, one of the 3 most precious people in my world, and he is not coming back, ever. The emptiness has not lessened as the years have gone by. Not long after Alex died, I remember reading somewhere that it takes 5 years to get over the death of a child. I know now that this is not true, that I am never going to get over Alex's death. But I have learned that it is okay to put my burden down from time to time, to realize little by little that somehow you are able to live a life and that it is possible to live even a good life and to laugh again, eventually. Congratulations, graduates. Well done. I wish you much happiness, success, and good mental health. I am honored to be a member of the class of 2017. Thank you.